What's up, people? I'm going to make one more video today, and this one is going to be basically about the situation with the gender ideology here in Germany, which is by far not as bad as in America. As of yet, I have yet to hear about underage children being mutilated by doctors because of the trans ideology. That hasn't happened yet. I guess I'm not 100% sure, but you don't hear about it here in Germany. But the gender ideology is already here, and you notice it with everything. With the gendering or in the language. Also, this when companies or businesses are trying to get employees, they're looking for employees. They write who is welcome to come interview for those jobs, and it's always MWD. Männlich, weiblich, divers. So that means male, female, and diverse. So what diverse exactly is, that could be fucking anything. You know what I mean? So it's creeping into the regular society here. And if you don't want it to go completely off the rails, people, you're going to need to fight back against it now. And, there are a couple ways you can do that. I know that you don't really have the law on your side. That the politicians are supporting this 100%, and again, they do that because they feel like this is what the majority of society wants, because they watch poll numbers, Twitter, social media, and they think this is the hot topic right now, and they think this is what everybody in society wants to have. When actually that's not true. Just most of society is not speaking out against it because they're afraid to be called a transphobe or a bigot, or they're afraid not to be part of the popular crowd, when everybody in the popular crowd is all in on this gender ideology shit, and they want to be morally virtuous. That's the same infectious disease we have in America, is this moral virtue signaling problem, where everybody wants to show or prove to everybody else how morally virtuous they are. It's the same people that put the Ukraine flag in their bio, or when Black Lives Matter, initiates a terrorist wave over America, that they post a black square in their Twitter bio. It's the people that wear the masks and to show everybody else how good they are. They want to be part of the good crowd. And that's the same thing with this gender ideology shit. But the gender ideology is creeping more and more onto everybody's regular lives. It's not going to be too long, and you're going to have, you're going to be forced by law to call, a man a woman, or to use children's pronouns when they come to school, and you're a teacher, and that child decides that they want to change their pronouns. Then you are obligated as a teacher to use those pronouns, or you may be fired, you may be put on suspension. Now, again, I'm not 100% sure this is not already happening here. If it is, then we need to ramp up the protest against it very quickly, and we need to make our voices heard, to show the politicians and these activist groups that we, as a society, outnumber them. We are not all about this bullshit, and we do not want to be forced to accept things that are not reality. And the men can become women thing is a perfect example of that. That is not reality. We all know it. Everybody knows it. And if we choose to deny this truth and go along with other people's obvious delusions, well, then we're basically broken people. You know what I'm saying? We're broken people. We've thrown in the towel and we've given up, because we would rather be subservient and have peace, so to speak, than to engage in any confrontation. And so that makes you basically a servant. You know what I'm saying? You'll basically become a servant. And of course, for governments, this is very exciting, because the weaker they view the people, the weaker the people are, the more that these governments are going to take more and more of your rights away, more and more of your control, more and more control. It's like sharks that smell blood in the water. So in what's left of any semblance of democracy that may have ever been in Europe, in Germany, in the United States, if you want to keep at least those things, you are going to have to fight on the side of truth. You're going to have to open your mouth on the side of truth. And this whole gender ideology shit is based on absolute bullshit, and we all know it, and it's time for us all to start calling it out. Now, an example of what you can do to call it out is, correct people, even in public, in your family. Again, like I said in my videos, like numerous videos, you have to start calling people out on their bullshit. You have to start calling people out on their hypocrisy. And not just the politicians, but fellow citizens. That's just the way it is. Yes, it's going to make it that you are in confrontation. It's going to make it that you may lose friends. It's going to make it that, you may be not invited to certain nice parties anymore. But look, I think living in reality and being on the side of truth will always win in the end. And those who are not on the side of truth and not on the side of the reality will not be forgiven so easy when reality hits these people. Or when the pendulum swings the other way. You know what I mean? You always got to remember that, one side is getting kicked in the ass right now, but at some point the pendulum will swing the other way. And if you don't want the side you've been kicking to take complete and utter wrath on you when that happens, then it would behoove you and be smart to back off and be on the side of truth and reality. Because, like I said, in the end, I think those will always win. It's just how hard are we going to have to fight to retain it. And so you're going to have to take some consequences for being on the side of truth and reality. That's just the way it is. But at least you can sleep good at night. At least you know you have courage. You have a backbone and a spine. And you're not just a withering husk of a person when you kowtow or bend the knee to untruths and unreal things. And the gender ideology is just that. So, to give you a quick example of what I did the other day, I had to make a delivery to Robert Bosch, the company. Every German knows it. For those who don't know Bosch, which I can't imagine anybody on the planet doesn't know it. It's a giant conglomeration. They make all kinds of stuff. They're mega. They make billions and billions. They're huge. They're huge. And I had to make a delivery there the other day. And then you have to check in. As a truck driver, you have to check in on a terminal. And on this terminal, you have to put your delivery number and then the company you drive for. And then they ask you your name. And then they ask you your sex. And it says male, female, or non-binary. Now, we have to start making it so that this shit is not normalized. What they want to do is they want to normalize this shit as if it's normal to answer this question with I am non-binary. Non-binary is not a fucking thing. It's a made-up thing. It's bullshit. It's made up. You know what I'm saying? There is no more non-binary than there is Santa Claus. It is total bullshit. So, I could have just answered, but like I said, you have to start pushing back. So, unfortunately, for the dude working behind the reception at this place, before I filled the form out, and I let everybody behind me in line wait while I had this guy answer, look, I said, I see 3 choices here. I know what I am, but I don't know what is non-binary. And the dude just stood there with open mouth, and he obviously has never been asked this question before. Because he didn't know how to answer it, and he was stuttering over his words. You know what I mean? And I said, no, look. This is a thing you want us to fill out when we make deliveries. So you have to be able to explain it. So if you offer a choice there that says non-binary, and I'd like to know who I may run into around here. I don't know what a non-binary is, and I'd like to be aware of what it means so I know what it looks like. And he laughed a little bit. I also laughed. I let him off the hook a little bit by making it lighthearted. The people behind me were all laughing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought it was hilarious. But the guy felt uncomfortable. He didn't know what to do, and I could have pushed it further. But of course, I'm working for my company, so I don't want to put them in too bad of a light. I don't want anybody from there to call my company and bitch and complain that I put this dude under too much pressure. But I pressured him enough that he eventually got so uncomfortable that I helped him out of that by laughing and just, forgetting about it. He couldn't answer the question, though, by the way. And I think we all have to do this shit. I think we all have to make these people who promote this gender ideology in any way, they must feel uncomfortable. They must realize this is not what the general public wants, and it's insane, unrealistic bullshit. We got to do something about it. Yeah, in Germany too, and we got to start now.